टीम वर्क करना है, कोऑर्डिनेशन करना है और कम्युनिकेशन करना है, बस फिर तो मेरी कॉर्पोरेट लाइफ सॉर्टेड है। हाय।
Hi.
दिस इज आरव।
Yes, Arav. We just received an email. Sharp at 9, early bird. Very nice. So, tell me something about yourself.
आई एम आरव।
Arav. Yes. Hi, Arav. How are you?
हाय, आई एम परफेक्ट।
Don't even try. This whole area is just for seniors and it's kind of rural. You'll get to know. ये lounge area है, just for seniors. Yeah?
ये मैनेजर को ना बोल दे, शाना ही लग रहा है।
Arav, could you just come back? Actually, something strange happened last week. ऐसे ही 3-4 महीने पुराना एक एम्प्लॉय था. He directly spoke to the managers. Hierarchy, you know. I hope you understand. तो hierarchy follow करना. कुछ समझ ना आए तो you can come and talk to me. Any your doubts, clarifications. मैनेजर से डायरेक्टली बात करी तो I hope प्रोबेशन में तो रहना ही चाहते हो ना. उसके बाद कंफर्मेशन में देखते हैं क्या होगा तुम्हारा, है ना? क्या? I have a lot of work. Bye. Best of luck. Humans in politics coexist. And just like that, office politics is inevitable. The more you deny it does not exist, the more easily you become a prey to it. Today, through Arav's journey, we will understand how you can identify those manipulative tactics disguised as favor, how to smartly deal with office politics without becoming the villain, and how to get recognition you truly deserve without shouting for it. What just happened with Arav is the first and the most dangerous red flag called ostracism. There will be some people who will act like your well-wishers from day one. They will smile, help you out, even offer to guide you. This all sounds like a helpful warning, but this is a classic isolation tactic. They will scare you about others and create a sense of paranoia. They will subtly position themselves as your only safe zone. And once you only trust them, they can control what you share, how you think, even how you act with others. Once you are isolated, you're easier to influence and manipulate, and your dependence becomes their strength. To deal with such situation, you just need to do two things. Always verify the facts. They might say manager is short-tempered or everyone is jealous of each other. Don't blindly trust such warnings. Instead, observe the team, talk to others, create opinions from your own experiences. Respond with balanced assertiveness. To be honest, when you are new or just not aware of all this, then it really becomes hard to resist these type of people. Out of courtesy, we just start believing whatever they say. But they're taking advantage of your kindness. Next time, when someone tries to isolate you, just say politely, I appreciate your concern and I'll be careful. I would like to rather know the team myself. This shows you are alert but not naive. Always document your work. Keep email trails, version histories, and updates. Honestly, this might sound like something very generic, but we will just see how this basic thing is going to cost Arav.
ये तो वही आइडिया है जो मैंने सुबह साक्षी को बताया था। उसने कहा था कि मैं इसको रीस्ट्रक्चर कर दूंगी, बट ये तो प्रेजेंट कर रही है।
So, what just happened in the second trap of office politics? Intellectual theft. You shared your idea in confidence, assuming mutual trust, and it will be presented as someone else's work. No restructure, no credit, just straight up idea hijack. This happens more often than you think, and the worst part is that it's hard to prove without any evidence. Honestly, people like Sakshi know how office politics work. They understand that in high-speed meetings, no one asks who came up with the idea. Everyone just sees who's presenting it. And when that presentation gets a praise, the silent contributor like Arav is just left invisible. This is one of the situations. It can happen more often than you can even imagine. For example, you're casually discussing a new process during a coffee break with a colleague. And the next day, they pitch it in the team meeting as if it was their idea. And you are in the meeting describing a raw but unique idea. Before you even finish, suddenly someone jumps in and expands. It's just not enough to own your own idea. Even sometimes, you might submit an idea to your manager or senior via email, hoping for a feedback. A few days later, you will see them presenting it. Not just this, the worst is when you work days on a presentation, staying late, perfecting these slides, rehearsing transitions, but when it's time to present, a senior says, "We worked on this as a team, I will take it from here." Any of this can happen with you, and I don't want you to sit clueless and become like next Arav. Instead, try these things. Use the CC and summary trick. The next time you share an idea or a suggestion, even casually, then send a follow-up email like this. Always CC a neutral party, either your own ID or a shared team ID. This builds a time-stamped digital trail without sounding aggressive. Number 2. Public brainstorming. Instead of private one-to-one, try floating your ideas in team forums, meetings, or Slack channels where at least 2 people hear it. Now, even if someone builds on it, you laid the foundation in public. Point 3. Plant anchors during meetings. Now, even after these, you end up in a situation like Arav, then here is the hack to rebound. When your idea is already stolen and it's too late to interrupt in the meeting, you can still tactfully reclaim it. For example, when the meeting opens up for comments, say something like, "Great restructuring, Sakshi. That connects well with what I was discussing with you this morning. I would just like to add one more point to push it further." This way, you are not accusing, just announcing your contribution without any drama. We have seen how people will be hungry to take your credit for your ideas. But have you ever thought about what they do when something messes up? Next scene will turn your perception to 180 degrees.
Report? But I didn't even know. I was assigned this. Sakshi said she'll handle today's submission.
Welcome to the third trap, scapegoating. Someone else forgets to do their part, but the blame does not fall on them. It lands on the newbie, the intern, or the one who stays quiet. You know why? Because you took their advice seriously and made no friends. This makes you the perfect target. This is a classic tactic of office politics, and it happens in many different forms. For example, you will be told, "Don't worry, I will forward it to the team," and they don't. When asked later from the manager, they will say, "Oh, Arav said he would handle it." It can also happen this way. Let's assume you are new and you follow instructions from your senior, but they never document it. Later, when things go wrong, they deny it altogether and say that wasn't what I said, making you look that you misunderstood. It can even happen like in a group task. You will do your part, but the final version is missing your section. The senior will present it and say something like, "He didn't send his inputs in time." Now, you can't prove it because it was verbal. Honestly, your fault is not in you because you cannot always doubt everyone. But yes, some will try to play with you like this. From our side, we can take these 2 precautions. Checkpoint reflections basically. Start summarizing your workday like a daily log for yourself. And once in a while, bring that into conversations like, "I was tracking today's task and he or she confirmed she's doing the report, so I skipped it." This feels casual, but it acts like a verbal receipt. Flip the spotlight. If someone offers to help or take over a task, just ask, shall I show that on your team tracker as yours? Now the responsibility is theirs and it's public. Blame can't be bounced back to you when ownership is already set. Even after these, let's assume damage is done and you are blamed. First of all, ask for clarity, but in front of others. Just ask this one calm line in a group setting. Hey, I thought Sakshi was handling that part. Maybe I misunderstood. Can we quickly check who is supposed to do what? Now, you are not accusing, but you're just asking for clarification. Most probably, the truth will come out because this makes the real person uncomfortable. And they often correct themselves on their own. Secondly, you have to fix your image. Even if you were not at fault, a situation like this can take a small hit on your reputation. To fix this, send a short message to your manager or senior assuring them that you will double check responsibilities from now on. This gives the impression that you are someone who wants to fix problems and helps repair trust silently.
यार मैंने भी तो सारा काम कर दिया था. I even cleaned up the tracker, fixed those errors. लेकिन मैं तो invisible ही हूँ. What wrong I am doing?
Now, this is the fourth and the most difficult, the visibility trap. You might be doing all the work, quietly fixing the problem, staying late, but when it's about recognition, your name doesn't even come up. But why? Because in the workplace, visibility is more powerful than performance. See, there is something called the mere exposure effect. The mere exposure effect. It says that people tend to trust and prefer things or people which they see more often. So, if you're silent and behind the scenes, you're not in their mental shortlist, even if you're doing all the heavy lifting. For example, the manager saw Sakshi 3 times today in meetings, Slack discussions, or even coffee casual breaks, but Arav was just sitting in front of his laptop. You need to understand most managers are juggling 10 things at a time. If you are not voicing your work or outcomes, they assume it's not worth noting. They don't see who fixed the tracker. They remember who spoke up about the tracker in the meeting. Corporate culture rewards ownership, not just efforts. Now, how to become visible from Mr. India of Mogambo. Number 1, use strategic presence anchoring. This is something used by consultants and startup founders when they want to stay visible without talking much. Pick 2 to 3 recurring slots per week like stand-ups, small team calls, report reviews, and always show up, even if it's not your main work area. There, just do 10-second verbal anchor about something which you solved. Something like, hey, I've aligned the task list with deadlines. Sharing this in case it helps. This helps people notice you more, and when they see you often, they start seeing you as someone who contributes. Why? That we already know that through mere exposure effect theory. Now, number 2, amplifier colleague. This one is effective but requires you to go out of your bubble. First, simply observe your team for a few days. Notice who's consistent with their work but not getting enough credit. Doesn't gossip but gives honest feedback. Once you find someone like that, make a simple compliment like how their idea helped you save time or anything which you feel that made a difference. Now, next time when someone tries to mention something related to you, then there are high chances that this teammate will subconsciously praise you. Because there is something called the norm of reciprocity, which says that people will help those who help them. Also, behavioral studies prove that the third-party reinforcement is much stronger than self-promotion. So this is tricky, but it will silently work for you. Number 3, Create a one-line portfolio channel. This is one of the smartest ways to make your work seen without sounding like you're bragging. See, most teams today use Slack, Microsoft Teams, or Notion. Now you need to propose or revive a public thread like hashtag this week I learned blah 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 or hashtag micro wins. Now here post your one-liner wins. This week I learned how to automate the weekly report, saved 30 minutes for my team. Now comes the best part. Others will start posting too, so it never looks like you are the only one who's trying to stand out. Number 4, use recognition looping. This is my favorite. Most people think visibility only comes from talking about your own work. But there's a smarter move. Use others' name to highlight your involvement. For example, hey, shout out to XYZ for sharing last week's deck, which made today's changes faster. This subtly trains people that you are involved in multiple projects. You are seen as aware, collaborative, and a key connector without boasting. And that is just one day in office politics. But here's the truth. It's not about avoiding politics because you can't. It's about recognizing the signs early, protecting your value, and learning how to respond with clarity instead of fear. We didn't make this video to scare you, but to make you aware that you can navigate through these situations effectively and clear your path for promotions, increment, and most importantly, mental peace. Also, if you're still looking for a job and feeling clueless, then check out our video about how to get a high-paying job from Tier 3 college on our channel. For more career-related videos in your feed, subscribe to The Final Round.